In the Sun newspaper, a rag I would no more usually turn to for news than a roll of lavatory paper, it has just been announced that model and professional bimbo Katie Price, aka Jordan, has just wed husband number 3, Kieran Hayler. With 2 failed marriages behind her at the age of 34, the airheaded numbskull was doubtless looking for a bit of advice to ensure that she didn't run blindly into another dead-end relationship. The logical advisor would be a close friend, her parents, a relationship advisor, or even a psychiatrist. But who did Katie turn to? A psychic. Now it seems that opinions vary as to whether Katie has any religious belief, but the fact is, regardless, her choice of advisor is every bit as dunderheaded as turning to God. Katie said, "I saw a medium who told me I'd already met the person I was going to marry." She also said that his name was Kevin. Well, Kieran has been after me for about a year. Apparently he'd been asking for my mobile number for ages. His name is also close to Kevin, so it all became clear. I took a friend with me who made notes during the session because I wanted to make sure I'd heard everything accurately. It's pretty hard to fully articulate the contempt I feel for this inane woman whose primary asset is the size of her breasts. She expresses everything I loathe about the tendency towards supernaturalism that still motivates many lower-order Homo sapiens. Richard Dawkins has talked about ancient humans' tendency to ascribe conscious agency to natural events. Other atheists talk about confirmation bias, the practice of seeing patterns in things that confirm our existing beliefs. For instance, a Christian praying for rain may understandably interpret a downpour as confirmation of the efficacy of prayer, in spite of the fact that the chances of rain may have been 50-50 even without prayer. However, where it can become particularly insidious is when a Christian sees no rain and interprets that as God punishing them for a lack of faith or some other misdemeanour. Or he simply tells himself that God's ways are too mysterious to be understood. As the saying goes, religion teaches you not to search for answers. That's exactly what mediums depend upon. That their marks are so desperate to receive answers that they will skew what they hear to fit their desires. In this case, Katie Price was given an unequivocal name, Kevin. Did she trust the psychic and start looking for Kevin? No, she skewed her interpretation so that the person she already knew fitted her desired outcome. No doubt if Kieran had been called Rodrigo, she would have told herself that the psychic was picking up on Rodrigo's great-uncle Juan, which sounds a bit like Kevin if you're drunk. Or if the only Kevin she knew was unappealing, she'd assumed the medium had meant Roger. Confirmation bias is particularly sinister when applied to biblical interpretation, because it enables those with good intentions to overlook the evil in the Bible that would otherwise convince them that the God of the Bible was a bipolar, capricious maniac. Similarly, it enables those of more bigoted proclivities to justify their hate-mongering, whilst ignoring the parts of the Bible that contradict it. Basically, for a Christian, confirmation bias means nothing more than seeing what you choose to see, even when it often means manufacturing new beliefs to reconcile the cognitive dissonance between your existing beliefs and what the Bible says. For example, when the Bible says in the New Testament that God so loved the world that he sacrificed his only begotten Son, but in the Old Testament tells us that he drowned the entire planet, they are logically irreconcilable statements. So Christians will start manufacturing additional data, such as his ways being too mysterious for us to understand, or everyone, including the babies and animals, was so evil that murdering them was the only way to save mankind. Confirmation bias is probably the greatest factor stopping questioning Christians from seeing the truth as it really is, and as I see it, the only way to overcome it is to calmly and rationally present the facts, coupled with gentle questions, so that it becomes increasingly difficult for rational Christians of good conscience to avoid the truth. As for Katie, well, anyone that stupid has got to be insufferable to live with, so massive fake breasts aside, I fully expect to see her marrying husband number 4 within a few years. And yes, she'll probably have the audacity to do it in white again.